Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to Live with Kori. I have a special musical guest today. Yay!
Hi, happy to be here.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Shazia. Hey, Sarah. It's good to see you all. And I don't know why it's not coming up on my other page here. Let's see. Oh, there it is. There we go. All right. It's good to see you all. This is my friend Heidi Breyer.
Hi. I can't see anything, but that's okay.
That's okay. It's on my end. If I'll show you. It's on my iPad. We can see you.
Good. Hi, everybody.
So, welcome to Live with Kori. It is, I'm broadcasting from my studio home, right here, and Heidi is being broadcast from the East Coast. Say hello.
Hi, everybody. I can't believe this technology.
Isn't that amazing?
From one coast to another, and
Yes.
we're both online together. It's awesome. It's great to catch up with you too, Kori.
Thank you. It's so awesome to catch up with you. I really love your studio. It's beautiful.
Oh, thanks. I don't think it's even a studio. It's more of a music room. I think it's just, it doesn't have any high-tech stuff in it, but
Oh, but
it's,
I love it. It has a really nice feel, a good place. Hey, Michelle. Hi, Gary. It's good to see you all here. I have a beautiful. Yes, she is Shazia. She is from England. She is living on the East Coast, and she grew up in York, right?
yeah, in York, and I moved here over 20 years ago, and my babies were born here about 20 years ago. So I'm
Awesome.
American, but I'm English too.
Well, we love that. I mean, we're all crazy over the British accents, let me tell you.
So,
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
well, I'm a mom, a collective mom of five, two of my own and three with Alexander, and I'm a musician, as you know, and I'm also an art consultant. I also help to liaise with all the galleries around the US that help sell Alexander's artwork. And the two of us together run a studio called Winter Hall Studios. And that is a combination of art and music, primarily ours right now, but we're also open to others. And but it's been an amazing journey in the last 10, 15 years to be able to write music in response to Al's work, and that's what I do.
That is so cool. I love that. Vin Downs just joined us. Hey, Vin.
Hey, Finn, how you doing?
So good to see everybody. So you also have several other albums prior to the one we're going to talk about today. Tell us about those.
Okay, yeah, there's one album that I submitted to Will Ackerman way back in 2009, and it was homegrown. It's called Winter Light, and it was a Christmas album, having just talked with you about the Christmas albums. And he said, yeah, come on into the studio. Then I did my first studio album, Another Place and Time, which was a piano instrumental album.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then Beyond the Turning, and which was probably the most heavily produced album, I'd say, from the standpoint of instrumentation.
Hmm.
It actually had percussion, and for me to have percussion on my albums is something else. It's usually not that. So I really enjoyed working with Jeff Haynes on that. It was awesome. And then Letters from Far Away was the next album, and then now I've got Moonlight, and then there's another one coming hopefully in a year. So,
Nice.
yeah.
That's really exciting.
I know there's a lot going on. I'm loving it.
Neil's just joined us. Hey, Malik. Oh, Vin says, I think Heidi needs to do a duet album with a guitarist. What would that be?
I, yeah. We talked about that, man. We need to talk more. It's like
Awesome. I would love that. That would be really awesome.
I'm up for it.
All right. Well, we're gonna go and play this first track on your album, and the album is called "Moonlight in Empty Rooms,"
That's right.
and this is called Eastertide. So let us know if you can hear it, and I'm pretty sure you can, but there's always that chance with technology. So here we go, Eastertide.
Okay.
Wow, that was gorgeous. Can you tell us about that track?
Yeah, it's very simple. It's the track was a response to a painting called Eastertide that Al did of a bunny that belongs to, it's actually a toy bunny that belongs to our daughter, which has stayed in the family and is a very important member of our family still. And the bunny sits in a brown chair, which we no longer have actually, like a just a sofa chair, and that's forsythia coming down onto the chair. And when I looked at this painting, it wasn't the bunny being static, it was the bunny taking off on an adventure and getting up and going. And so at the beginning of the music, you hear this, it's kind of quite timid. And then all of a sudden, it's this kind of da 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 da, and he goes off on his adventure. So it's a little bit childlike in a sense, but that's what it's about. So
Oh, I love that. That's really good. I hope you guys are listening to what she's saying because we have a couple of albums we're going to give away. So I will be asking questions later on. So make sure you're listening to what we're saying so that you can give me the answer in a message. Don't put it in open chat. So I'm not going to ask you the question yet, but just know that there's two albums that we're going to give away, right?
oh, Kori, you're tough.
I am tough. Gotta make them work, you know.
That's right.
So I was really interested. I went to your website and I just now went to moonlightalbum.com. You guys look at that. There's Alex and Heidi. You can listen to the album there, I think.
Yeah, if you go up to the top on listen, you should be able to listen to good portions of each song.
Nice. So I was learning about you, and I know that you grew up, you were born in the UK, and that you lived in York. And then what drove you to study music at the Trinity College of Music? What was it that drove you?
I actually went to school in the south of England at the Arts Educational School in Hertfordshire, and I initially started my arts education with dance, but I was too short and probably too fat, if I'm honest, to be a ballerina. I couldn't do it. And so they said, listen, Heidi, you're as musical, you're showing your musicianship in the dance, just think about music. This is when I was tiny, I was a kid. And so I gave it some thought, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to study music. So I studied the piano before I went to music college, and then decided to do history of music when I went to London Trinity College of Music with a sort of bent towards piano. But it wasn't piano performance. It was definitely more academic. And I did some composition there too. And that's what drove me. I've always been sort of arts oriented, and my parents have always been avid listeners of music, but not musicians. So I don't hail from a lineage of musicians or anything. It's just something in me. So there you go.
That's awesome. I really like that. And if you could talk to any of your favorite composers, who would you want to talk with?
Oh, Rachmaninoff, I think.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
I mean, because he had so much turmoil when he eventually came over to America. And, he was asked to play all these pieces, which actually by then he was pretty sick of, apparently. And so because he made that migration, it would be amazing to talk to him about that experience for him, And so that, and there are so many. Mendelssohn's another one. I love Mendelssohn, and Debussy, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And just tons of living musicians too, but I'm not going to start stalking those, so I won't tell you the names of those people I love. But there are tons of living musicians that I would just be really enamored to meet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
This is fun for me because I actually can talk to the musicians that I like and that are in my genre, like you, and Will, and Fiona, and it's so fun. Because,
You're in a prime position to meet so many people and learn so much too.
well,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, learning is a good thing. I love to learn, and I hope I never lose that. Um,
right. It's the
so,
most important thing, and that's how we grow as musicians, right? Or as people.
exactly, exactly. And with this album, I think you've grown in huge strides. I mean, your music's always been really um, pastoral, but there's always been something about it. But this album, there's just a lot going on there. And when I've sat down to listen to it, because we're voting for the Grammys, for the first round, so I was just like, I felt like I was transported somewhere else.
Oh, that's a
And
lovely thing to hear. Thank you.
you're welcome, and you guys would really, really love it. And Logan, this is my watch right here. He's asking me about my watch. Um, I don't know. I mean, it also tells me my steps. But yeah. So the next song I'm gonna play from Moonlight in Empty Rooms by Heidi Breyer is "The Sound and the Fury," and I cannot wait till you guys hear this. And I can't wait till you tell us about it. So let's listen to it, and then we'll talk about it.
All right.
Oh my goodness, that was gorgeous. The Charlie Bishara was on that, right?
Yeah, he's amazing, isn't he? And I want to read something about what Al wrote about this painting called Sound and Fury that he did. But before that, I'll tell you about Charlie.
Okay.
The take on this was was a one take. It was right at the end of the day. We had done all of the other pieces on the album, and all of us were pretty spent with our energy. And he knew it was going to be a powerful piece, and he knew he had to respond with strength and power, which he can do easily. But for me, I was just bottomed out, tanked out with energy. And so from the other side of the glass, I said, come on, let's do it now. So he hears the music for the first time. He hasn't even heard it before. And I start waving my hands around, and he starts following my body language. And he's responding to my body language and to a picture in the book, of Al's book. So he knew what the painting looked like. And then he was responding to my body language, which was basically, I'm not a conductor. I can do a bit of choral conducting, but I was throwing myself around everywhere, trying to tell him this is the nature of it, this crashing wave. And he just did it in one take. And it was amazing. And then Will rightly insisted that he does a safety take, right? Mm-hmm. So we had to do that. But I don't even think that figured in the end. It was just like a one take thing. And he listened to every nuance that I play. He imitated, if you hear him, he's imitating my scale down, with his violin with a scale down. And I can't take any credit for that. I didn't write the score on that piece, and he is amazing. So that's Sound and Fury. And basically Sound and Fury is my musical response to a crashing wave that Alexander had painted. And the source of inspiration for that, Al wrote in the liner notes. And this is what it says. The title itself came from Shakespeare's Macbeth. Life is but a walking shadow. It is a tale told by a madman full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Macbeth's tragic fate notwithstanding, this painting is about the awesome power of the ocean, which, like time, has no mercy, no beginning or end, and seemingly no purpose. Yet when we stand at the very edge of it, mesmerized by the movement of the waves, it is not hard to believe that somewhere in that lies a secret to the order of all things, past, present, and future.
Wow.
And how can you not be inspired by that? I mean, so, I go to the piano and that's my response, he's so inspiring to me, Al is, and Charlie for that matter, but Al is. But anyway, so that's Sound and Fury.
Wow, it's beautiful, and I put in the chat that I felt like that piece reminded me of the composer. His name is Dario Marianelli. Okay. And the pianist Jean-Yves Thibaudeau. They were the musicians that played the soundtrack for Pride and Prejudice movie with Keira Knightley in it. And I always felt that your touch was very close to that, but you have your own stamp, no mistake in it. I mean, it's you guys, you listening to her music, it's just, she's inspired by all this art that's around her daily. Mm-hmm. I really like where it takes me, and Moonlight in Empty Rooms definitely will take you places where you've been, where you want to be, what you want to do. It's just it's a very important thing you say that. What you said is take you where you've been, because art is very much about looking in the mirror. And when somebody falls in love with a piece of art, they are falling in love again with themselves, or a little piece of themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And that has to be, that's my challenge, is to translate that musically. So, and that's what I wanted to do with Al's art. I wanted to musically convey his art, but also show the listener
a bit of themselves through the music. So when you sit and listen, you're not only looking at a piece of yourself, but you're listening to a piece of yourself, and that's key, and that's relatable music. Not necessarily relatable in an accessible way, like a marketable way.
Right.
This is not an easily marketable product, right? But it's something that you might see a little bit of yourself in, and if that's the case, then it might do you some good. And if it does you some good, then it's doing its job.
Yeah, it's exactly doing what it's supposed to do. I mean, I beg to differ. It's not difficult to market. Really, it is not, because it's the listener. When you guys listen to this music, it will take you places, and it's an escape. It's things that you want to remember or experience, and that's you've done it. You've really done it. And you guys, guess what? She has entered this album into the Grammys, so we are heavy in the Grammy season, and so I'm hoping that people take notice of this album. Really need to. So now we know that Heidi is from the UK. She lived in York, not New York, York. She went to Trinity College of Music, and she writes music being influenced by her husband Alex Volkov, right?
Yep.
And so now I want to give away the first album, okay? And would you be willing to sign it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So
Cool.
when you guys, I'm going to ask you a question. You answer it and send it through Messenger, or just message me the answer, and then we'll go from there. Where is Heidi from originally? So now we're going to go ahead, and we're going to play Faith. And this is my favorite song on the album. So here you guys go, and we're going to play Faith, and then she's going to talk about it afterwards. I'm such a dummy. There we go.
You got it?
Yeah.
Cool. I thought it was me. That's okay.
No, no, we were hearing music from somewhere, and we just figured it out, but it's all good. Hey, Bob. It's good to see you, man. Hey, Claudie. Thank you, Claudia. I'm glad you came, and sleep well, lady. I hope you have a good sleep. So now we're gonna give away another album. It's The Moonlight in Empty Rooms by Heidi Breyer, and I want you to message me after you. Actually, I'm gonna ask her a question. And then when you then I'm gonna ask you a question. That totally threw me off.
No, that's okay. I think I was going to talk about faith.
Oh yes, go ahead and talk about faith, and you guys listen because there's an answer in there when I ask the question.
Okay, so faith, which is the piece you guys have just heard, is based on an old hymn, doxology, and or the old 100th hymn, it's also known as. And I used it to, well, I was inspired to use it to write my journey of faith. The initial painting that inspired a piece of music that I wanted to respond to was of a church in Vermont. But then, you know, looking at this church and staring at it, it's this white church that sits on this hill with a very dark background of clouds, ominous thunderclouds. And I was thinking of what happens inside that white, beautiful New England church. And it's obviously in part singing hymns. And that's what made me think of doing faith as a variation on my journey, my faith journey. So I took this simple hymn and wrote 4 variations depicting the undulating waves of my own faith journey over the course of my adult life. And I think it doesn't need to be spoken about in detail, you know, what variation represents what aspect of that journey. I think it hopefully speaks to everybody in a certain way, in parallel. But that's really what faith is about.
Nice. That is so cool.
Show you the painting. Can you see that?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Is that Alexander's art?
Yeah, that's what faith is based on. That's what the piece I wrote is based on.
Oh my gosh.
And in the CD, you have all of this to look at and read about. It's all of and actually I can show you Eastertide too. I can show you all of them. But that's Eastertide with the bunny. You remember that?
I remember that. I remember seeing you posting about that.
Yeah. So there you go.
By the way, hey Dave. Good to see you, man. So that church was in Vermont.
It's in Vermont. It's not a church I've ever attended. It's just high up on a hill. I have to ask Al exactly where it was. I don't think it's anywhere in the vicinity that we usually go.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's gorgeous. That is gorgeous. Okay, so my question, you guys, if you want a signed album and you got to see that beautiful artwork that Heidi was showing us, where was that church? The song Faith. Where was that church at? Don't tell me in the comments. Message it to me, the answer. And if you get it right, you will be getting a signed album from Heidi. This beautiful album. You guys will love it. Hey, Greg. Good to see you, man.
Have you told them it's a double album? That it's a CD DVD?
You just told them.
That's right. So it has this moving video footage on the DVD that is not static shots of the artwork that I've written the music to, but it's actually moving footage that encompasses a lot of Al's artwork. And it's a really nice feel. And if you stick it in your CD drive if you have one still, and it'll come up on your computer. You can just melt into that with your favorite tea or wine or whatever.
Mm.
And
I know I'm getting my copy, man. I definitely want some of his artwork. It would look really good in here, and also in my living room. It would look really pretty in there. But you guys, I wanted to thank Heidi for coming on today and for being a part of Live with Kori. And
thank you for having me.
and I really, really appreciate you being here. And I appreciate all of you for watching and joining. I will be posting the replay, and on Monday I will be uploading the full show on YouTube, so you guys won't miss it. Check out Heidi's music at moonlightalbum.com, and I also posted the link in the chat. And you guys have a fantastic weekend, and keep sharing. Post with me. Please keep writing to me, and it's going to be so awesome. And thank you.
Kori, thanks for having me on the show, and everybody keep listening to Kori. She's brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's true.
I'm not good with compliments, but I'm getting better at it. But thank you very much.
Thank you. That's what you say. That's brilliant, though, that you do this. Oh my God.
I love it. I genuinely love everyone that has been on here. So,
it's great. You're great.
Oh,
so.
Stop it. Thank you.
Oh, and it's such a good vibe because you're another musician,
Yeah.
and you kind of get it.
I do.
So you can go into a little bit more detail with you rather than just an interviewer who's interviewing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Thank you. Sorry about the music, whether it was my end. I'm really, well, whatever.
Who knows? We'll figure it out when I do the editing, so no worries.
Okay.
All right, you take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye,
Kori.
everybody.
Bye.